6 months after the first alien visit to Earth, a grand meeting hall had been built in Seoul for a special event. Today, Earth would host the Galactic Council for treaty negotiations. Captain Kim Tae-ho, now promoted to colonel, stood in his new uniform beside General Kang. They watched as the alien ships landed one by one in the large field outside. "Quite different from their first visit," said General Kang. Tae-ho nodded. "No more looking down on us, now they come with respect." The main door opened and the alien delegates walked in. Commander Vex and Admiral Zahn led the group. Their faces were serious, their steps careful. They stopped in front of Tae-ho and General Kang and gave a formal bow, something they had not done before. "Earth welcomes the Galactic Council," said General Kang. "We are pleased to begin our formal talks today." Commander Vex stepped forward. "We thank you for your hospitality. The Galactic Council is eager to establish new relations with Earth." There was no trace of the old arrogance in his voice. The aliens had learned that humans were not what they had first thought. The meeting took place in a large round room with a table in the center. On one side sat the Earth leaders, including General Kang, Colonel Tae-ho, Ambassador Choi Mina, and Dr. Yoon Hye-jin. On the other side sat the alien representatives from 20 different worlds. Commander Vex opened the talks. "We propose an alliance of equals," he stated formally. "Your species has demonstrated unique capabilities that would be valuable to the galactic community." Ambassador Choi nodded. "We are interested in an alliance, but first we want to be clear about how Earth will be treated." "Of course," said Admiral Zahn. "When we first came to Earth, we underestimated your species. We now understand that humans have abilities that no other species in the known galaxy possesses." Dr. Yoon spoke up. "You mean our ability to adapt to extreme environments?" "Yes," said the Admiral. "Your people can train and work on worlds that would kill any of our species instantly. This gives you access to resources and locations that no one else can reach." General Kang leaned forward. "And you now see the value in having humans as allies rather than enemies." The aliens looked at each other before Commander Vex answered. "Yes, we do." While the main talks continued, Colonel Tae-ho gave Admiral Zahn a tour of Earth's main training facility in the Himalayan mountains. They watched as new recruits climbed steep paths carrying heavy packs. The thin air at high altitude made breathing difficult, but the soldiers moved quickly. "This is where your soldiers train?" asked Zahn, watching the humans running up mountain slopes. "This?" Tae-ho smiled. "This is where our children go for summer camp. Our actual military trains elsewhere." Admiral Zahn looked surprised. "Your children train in these mountains?" "Yes," said Tae-ho. "It helps them grow strong. The thin air, the cold nights, the changing weather, all of it teaches their bodies to adapt." The alien admiral watched a group of young humans no more than 12 years old, climbing a rock wall without any safety gear. They moved easily despite the height and danger. "Now I understand," said Zahn quietly. "Your whole species is built for survival in ways ours never learned." Back in the meeting room, the treaty talks were going well. Both sides had agreed on most points. Earth would join the Galactic Alliance as a full and equal member, despite being new to space travel. "There is one more matter," said Commander Vex. "We would like to establish a joint training program. Select soldiers from our worlds would train with humans." Ambassador Choi looked surprised. "You want your people to train in our facilities? Even on Venus and Mercury?" "Not at first," said Vex. "We know our biology cannot handle those environments yet, but we want to learn from you. Perhaps over time, with your guidance, some of our species can adapt too." General Kang nodded slowly. "We can arrange this, beginning with Earth-based training only. If your soldiers do well, we can consider more advanced programs." The aliens seemed pleased with this answer. The head counselor stood up. "We are grateful for Earth's willingness to share knowledge," he said. "For thousands of years, the galaxy has been explored and settled by species who could only live in certain environments. Humans change that. You open up new worlds to us, all." What the aliens didn't know was that humanity's adaptability extended beyond physical training. During the 6 months since first contact, human scientists had been studying alien technology. While the galactic species had grown comfortable with their advanced tools, humans had been rapidly learning and improving upon them. Dr. Han Junho led the reverse engineering team. In his lab deep under Seoul, he showed General Kang the latest results. "We've improved their ship engine design," said Dr. Han. "Our version is 30% more efficient and can withstand higher temperatures." "How is this possible?" asked the general. "Their technology is thousands of years ahead of ours." "Yes, but it stopped improving long ago," explained Dr. Han. "They found something that worked and stuck with it. Humans never stop looking for better ways." The general smiled. "Like our bodies, our minds always adapt." "Exactly," said Dr. Han. "And they have no idea how quickly we learn." The treaty signing ceremony was held the next day. All the Galactic Council members and Earth leaders gathered in the Grand Hall. The document was signed, establishing humanity as a full and equal member of the Galactic Council. After the ceremony, Dr. Yoon Hyejin whispered to Ambassador Choi, "They still haven't discovered our Titan base." Choi nodded. "Some secrets are best kept hidden, at least until the galaxy is ready." Titan, Saturn's largest moon, had lakes of liquid methane and a thick, toxic atmosphere. The temperature was 290 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet deep below its surface, humans had built their most advanced training facility. There, the best soldiers learned to survive in conditions that made Neptune seem pleasant. And beyond Titan, humanity had even bigger plans. Now that they knew about other star systems, they were already designing training programs for worlds around distant suns, places where even the special forces would find it challenging. That evening, Colonel Kim Tae-ho stood on a balcony overlooking Seoul. The city lights spread out below him, and above, the stars shined. Among those stars were thousands of worlds, most of which no alien species could ever visit without heavy protection. But humans could go there. Humans could adapt, survive, and thrive. Admiral Zahn joined him on the balcony. "Your world is beautiful," said the alien. "Now I see why your species is so strong. Earth itself trained you." Tae-ho nodded. "We never thought of it that way, until we met you. To us, adapting is just what humans do." "The galaxy will never be the same," said Zahn. "For better or worse, humans have changed everything." "For better," said Tae-ho with a smile. "We don't want to conquer. We just want to explore, to see every world no matter how extreme." The alien admiral looked up at the stars. "There are places out there that no one has ever visited. Worlds too hot, too cold, too heavy, or too toxic for any known species." "We'll go there," said Tae-ho simply. "That's what humans do." As they stood there looking at the night sky, ships from 20 different worlds orbited Earth. In those ships, alien leaders were sending messages home. The messages all said similar things. "We have met a new species. They call themselves humans. They are different from any species we know. They can live where we cannot. They can go where we cannot. The galaxy has changed forever." And on Earth, General Kang looked at a new set of plans. The title read, "Project Starwalker: Human Training Beyond the Solar System." Humanity's journey to the stars had begun, and the universe would never be the same. The airlock door opened with a soft hiss. Commander Jun Kim led his team into Celestial Station, the massive space structure where the Deathworld summit would take place. They all wore their best United Earth uniforms, dark blue with silver, trim in the Earth emblem on their shoulders. "Stay calm," Jun whispered to his team. "Remember your training." The room they entered was large and brightly lit. The walls were smooth and white, and the floor seemed to glow softly. What caught their attention, though, were the three strange beings waiting for them. One was tall and thin, almost twice Jun's height. Its skin shimmered with colors that shifted like oil on water. It had 4 long arms and no visible mouth. The second creature was shorter and more solid-looking. It reminded Jun of the pictures he had seen of dinosaurs, but this being wore a complex metal frame around its body that hummed softly. The third was the strangest of all, a floating ball of water containing something like a jellyfish. The water didn't spill but stayed in a perfect sphere that hovered at eye level. "Welcome to Celestial Station," said the tall, shimmering being. Its voice came from a small device at what might be its neck. "I am High Counselor Ilari of the Araxian Collective. These are Delegate Morg of the Voth Imperium and Envoy Bublos of the Nubari Depths." Ambassador Minho stepped forward and bowed slightly. "Thank you for your welcome. I am Ambassador Minho Kang of Earth. These are Commander Jun, Kim Lieutenant Sujin Park, Dr. Taiho Lee, Ji Wusong, and Dr. Han Jun Yoon." Hilari's colors shifted to a deeper blue. "We are honored to have Earth join the Deathworld Alliance." June noticed the pause. It was small, but it was there. These beings were not entirely happy to see humans. "If you will follow me," Elari continued, "I will show you to your section of the station." As they walked through the corridors, humans and aliens alike studied each other with curiosity. Dr. Taiho could barely contain his excitement. His eyes darted from one alien to another, taking mental notes of everything he saw. The station was even more impressive inside than outside. Different sections had different gravity, air, and temperature to match the needs of various species. Some areas glowed with strange lights while others were dark. Some were hot, others cold. In one section, June saw creatures swimming in a liquid that clearly wasn't water. "The Category 12 section is this way," Counselor Ilari explained. "We have prepared it according to Earth conditions." They entered a new area with thick walls and many security doors. June exchanged a quick glance with Su Jin. They both noticed the extra security measures. Their rooms were surprisingly nice. They had comfortable beds, Earth-style bathrooms, and even a small kitchen stocked with food from Earth. But the entire area was surrounded by strong barriers and security systems. When the aliens left, Su Jin turned to June. "Did you notice? These aren't just rooms, they're cages." June nodded grimly. "They're treating us like dangerous animals." Ambassador Minho joined them, holding a small tablet with the summit schedule. His face was serious. "We've received the meeting schedule. We're only invited to certain talks, mostly about containing dangerous life forms and managing aggressive species. So we're not equal participants," June said, his voice tight with anger. "We're case studies, examples of dangerous creatures." "That's not all," Minho added. "I've heard rumors that some Confederation members want to put all Category 12 planets under quarantine, including Earth. They want to lock us in our own solar system?" Sujin asked, shocked. Ji Woo, who had been quietly watching the aliens during their tour, spoke up. "There's something else you should know. The other Deathworld species, they're afraid of us specifically, more than they fear each other." "But why?" asked Hanjun. "We haven't done anything threatening." "It's not what we've done," Taiho explained. "It's what we are. I've been reading the data they sent. Most Deathworld species specialize to survive their worlds. The Voth have extremely thick skin and strong bones for high gravity. The Nubari evolved to live under crushing ocean pressure. But humans? But humans what?" June asked. "We didn't specialize. We adapted. We can live almost anywhere on our planet. Hot deserts, cold mountains, dense forests, open plains. We can eat almost anything. We can learn almost any skill, to them, that makes us unpredictable." The human delegation spent the rest of that day settling in and reviewing information about the summit. They studied the other species that would attend and prepared for their first full day of meetings. The next morning they entered the main conference hall. It was a massive room with sections for each type of species. The Category 12 species, those from the most dangerous worlds, were kept apart from the others. As the humans took their seats, they felt the stares of hundreds of alien eyes, or what passed for eyes among the different species. A tall Araxian stood at the center of the room and spoke. "Welcome to the 15th Deathworld Summit. Today we welcome a new species to our gathering, humans from the planet Earth." The room filled with a strange mix of sounds, clicks, hums, and whispers as the aliens discussed this news. Humans are classified as Category 12, From a high-gravity, oxygen-rich planet with extreme temperature variations and abundant dangerous life forms, the Araxian continued. Holograms appeared, showing images of Earth, hurricanes, volcanoes, lions hunting, and bacteria under a microscope. Despite these conditions, humans have developed spaceflight and a unified planetary government. They have expressed interest in joining the Galactic Confederation. More whispers and strange sounds filled the room. Before any decisions are made, we will study human biology, psychology, and capabilities. June leaned over to Minho. They're talking about us like we're not even here. Minho nodded slightly. That's exactly what they're doing. We need to change that. After the introduction, the summit broke into smaller meetings. The humans were guided to a room labeled Containment Strategies for Aggressive Species. Inside, scientists from various worlds discussed methods to manage dangerous life forms. Sujin's face grew redder by the minute. When one speaker suggested putting monitor implants in all Deathworld species before allowing them to travel, she nearly stood up to protest. June put a hand on her arm to stop her. Not yet, he whispered. We need to pick our moment. Later that day, they attended a demonstration of survival technologies. Different species showed off their special environmental suits, weapons, and tools designed for harsh conditions. When it was Earth's turn to present, Dr. Tejo stepped forward. Instead of showing technology, he displayed images of human activities: mountain climbing, deep-sea diving, marathon running. Humans don't just survive our world, he explained. We explore it for fun. We climb our highest mountains, dive in our deepest oceans, and run long distances as a hobby. The aliens stared in what seemed like shock. Is this some form of military training? Asked a Voth delegate. No, Tejo replied. These are recreational activities, things we do for pleasure and personal challenge. The silence that followed was heavy. The idea of seeking out danger for fun seemed to disturb many of the aliens deeply. That night, as the human delegation discussed the day's events, Jiwoo summed up their situation. They invited us here to study us, maybe even to decide if we should be contained, but they don't understand us at all. Then we'll make them understand. June said firmly, tomorrow we stop being polite observers. Tomorrow we show them who humans really are. Little did they know, events were already in motion that would give them that chance, in a way none of them could have expected. The third day of the summit began with tension in the air. The human delegation had spent most of the night planning their approach. They were tired of being treated like dangerous animals to be studied. Remember, June told his team at breakfast, we stay calm, but we no longer stay quiet. If they want to know about humans, we'll show them who we really are. The main event of the day was a demonstration called Survival Adaptations. Species from different death worlds would show their natural abilities that helped them survive harsh conditions. The huge demonstration hall was packed with delegates from all across the galaxy. Some floated in bubbles of strange gases. Others were supported by mechanical devices. A few looked almost human, except for strange colors or extra limbs. The first to demonstrate was a Voth, the reptilian species with the mechanical exoskeletons. The Voth delegate Morg stepped onto the central platform. With a low growl, he activated something on his wrist. His exoskeleton shifted and locked into place. Then he bent down and lifted a metal weight that would have crushed most creatures. The Voth evolved on a world with 3 times Earth's gravity, the announcer explained. Their natural strength allows them to survive pressures that would kill most species. Next came a Nubari and its floating water sphere. The jellyfish-like creature pulsed and glowed as its sphere was subjected to extreme pressure changes. The water compressed to half its normal size, then expanded again, but the Nubari inside seemed unaffected. The Nubari can withstand pressure. Changes that would rupture the bodies of most other species, the announcer said. One by one, representatives from Deathworld planets demonstrated their survival abilities. Some showed resistance to extreme heat or cold. Others demonstrated immunity to poisons that would kill humans instantly. A particularly strange creature showed how it could survive without oxygen for hours. When it was Earth's turn, June stepped onto the platform. He wore his regular uniform with no special equipment. The audience murmured in confusion. Human delegate, please demonstrate your species' primary survival adaptation, the announcer prompted. June smiled slightly. I already am. The murmurs grew louder. I'm standing here in an atmosphere that would poison many of you, June explained. Under gravity that would crush some of you. At a temperature that would freeze or burn others, while my body fights off millions of tiny invaders that try to kill me every second. The hall fell silent. But that's not even our greatest survival trait, June continued. Our real strength is this. He tapped his head. Humans don't just survive. Our Deathworld. We master it. We've changed rivers, moved mountains, sailed across oceans, and flown through the sky. We've turned deserts into farms and built cities in places where nothing should live. He looked around the room slowly. And we don't just endure danger, we seek it out. We climb mountains for fun, we dive into deep water as a hobby. We run long distances to challenge ourselves. The silence in the hall was complete now. Every alien was watching him, some with what looked like fear, others with something like respect. We humans call it adaptability. We learn, we change, we overcome. That is how we survive. As June finished speaking, the lights in the hall flickered. Then they went out completely. For a moment, there was darkness. When emergency lights came on, they were dim and red. A voice came over the station's communication system. Warning: environmental control systems failing in sectors 7 through 15. All delegates, please proceed to emergency shelters. Chaos erupted. Many species needed specific air mixtures, temperatures, or gravity levels to survive. If those systems failed, they would die. June looked at his team. They nodded, understanding without words. This was an emergency, but it was also their chance to show who humans really were. Ambassador Minho stepped forward, approaching the Araxian High Counselor Ilari. Earth offers assistance, he said loudly enough for many to hear. Our people can function in a wider range of conditions than most species here. The Araxian's colors shifted rapidly, a sign of stress, June guessed. You offer help? How do we know you didn't cause this crisis? You don't, Minho replied calmly. But right now that doesn't matter. Lives are at risk. We can help save them. Will you accept our offer? The Araxian hesitated, then nodded. What do you propose? Dr. Hanjun, their medical expert, spoke up. Our ship has emergency equipment designed for various environments, and our people are trained for crisis response. Very well, Ilari agreed reluctantly. What do you need? Within minutes, the humans had transformed from diplomatic curiosities to emergency responders. June and Sujin put on lightweight environmental suits, not because they needed them, but to carry extra supplies of oxygen and to protect against extreme temperatures in affected areas. We'll split into teams, June told the others. Sujin and I will check the most damaged areas. Hanjun set up a medical station on our ship. Taiho, work with the station engineers to fix the environmental systems. Minho and Jiwoo coordinate with the other delegations to identify who needs immediate help. As they moved to their tasks, June overheard a Voth delegate say to another alien, "They're organized. They've done this before." The other alien, a species June didn't recognize, replied, "Of course they have. Their whole planet is a disaster zone. They live like this." June and Sujin made their way to Sector 9, where the damage seemed worst. The gravity was fluctuating wildly. One moment they felt twice as heavy. The next they were nearly floating. The temperature had dropped far below freezing, and strange gases leaked from damaged pipes. "Life signs ahead," Sujin said, checking her scanner. 3 Keltarians trapped in that chamber. The Keltarians were a species from a radiation-heavy world. They looked somewhat like tall, thin humans with metallic skin. They were highly advanced, technologically but physically fragile outside their specialized environments. June and Sujin found them huddled in a room where radiation levels had spiked dangerously high. For the Keltarians, this wasn't a problem. They absorbed radiation as energy, but they couldn't survive the cold that was rapidly filling the room. "We're here to help," June called to them. "We need to get you to a safer area." The Keltarians looked at the humans with surprise. Why would you help us? One asked. Your delegation opposed our proposal yesterday. It was true. The Keltarians had suggested strict monitoring of all Category 12 species, including humans. That doesn't matter now, Sujin said. On Earth, we have a duty to help anyone in danger, even those who don't like us. Using emergency thermal blankets from their packs, they wrapped the Keltarians against the cold. Then, with June leading, and Sujin following, they formed a chain to move through areas where the gravity was dangerously unstable. As they made their way to a secure zone, they passed other rescue teams, some alien, some human. Everyone was working together now with survival as the only goal. When they reached safety, the lead Keltarian turned to June. I don't understand. We've been treating your species with suspicion, even fear. Yet you risk yourselves for us. Why? June thought for a moment before answering. Because that's what humans do. We survive by helping each other, by building communities, by working together against threats. It's how we made it on Earth, and it's how we'll make it out here among the stars too. The Keltarian was silent, its metallic face unreadable, but it gave a gesture that might have been respect before moving away. I think we're making progress, Sujin said with a small smile. Let's not celebrate yet, June replied. We've got more people to save, and we still don't know what caused this failure. As they headed back into the damaged sectors, neither of them knew that the cause of the crisis would soon be revealed, and it would change the summit in ways no one had expected. The emergency on Celestial Station grew worse by the hour. Nearly half the station was affected by the environmental failure. In some areas, gravity shifted unpredictably. In others, temperatures dropped far below freezing or rose to dangerous levels. Harmful gases leaked into areas where they could poison certain species. Radiation levels spiked in sections where sensitive equipment was damaged. For most of the alien delegates, this was a nightmare scenario. Their bodies were adapted to specific conditions. Even small changes could be deadly for them. But for the humans, this was almost familiar. Earth had taught them to deal with changing conditions and unexpected dangers. Now, that experience was saving lives. June and Sujin moved through corridors where the artificial gravity went from double normal to almost zero in seconds. They found a group of Oraxian delegates trapped in a section where radiation had reached levels that could damage their color-shifting skin. We need to create a safe path for them, June said, looking at the scanner readings. The radiation is coming from that damaged panel. Sujin pointed to a wall where something glowed with an unhealthy blue light. Working quickly, they used metal sheets from a damaged wall to create a shield. With the makeshift barrier in place, they guided the Oraxians through the danger zone. Your assistance is unexpected, said one Oraxian, its skin cycling through shades of blue. Why? Asked Sujin. Would you not help us if we were in danger? The Oraxian's colors shifted to a deep purple. I am not certain. On the human ship, UES Horizon, Dr. Han Jun had set up an emergency medical center. Injured aliens from many different species were brought there for treatment. Han Jun and the ship's medical AI worked together to identify the specific needs of each patient. This one needs a higher oxygen mixture, Han Jun told a volunteer assistant from the Voth delegation. And that one needs to be kept warm. Their body temperature is dropping too quickly. The Voth delegate, who had earlier argued for restricting human activities in space, now worked alongside Han Jun to save lives. You know much about other species, the Voth observed. Han Jun nodded as he adjusted a medical device. We studied all the biological information the Confederation shared with us. Humans are curious by nature. We want to understand everything around us. Even potential enemies. Especially them. Han Jun replied with a small smile. On Earth, we have a saying, know your enemy. But we also have another saying, a stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet. The Voth made a sound that might have been a laugh. You humans are full of contradictions. That's what makes us human. Meanwhile, Dr. Teho was working with the station's engineering team to find the cause of the environmental failures. He had joined a mixed group of aliens in the main control room, where they studied system diagrams and emergency reports. The failures started in multiple places at once, said a Nubari engineer, its tentacles moving across a control panel. That should not be possible through natural system decay. Tejo examined the data carefully. You're right. These failures didn't happen by accident. He pointed to a pattern in the system logs. Look, each failure was triggered by a specific command, all sent within 2 minutes of each other. The chief engineer, a tall insect-like being called a Thrix, clicked its mandibles in alarm. Sabotage? But who would do such a thing, and why? Tejo didn't answer immediately. He was too busy tracing the origin of the commands. The orders came from a terminal in Section 23. That's not even in the affected areas. Section 23 is the delegation quarters for the Zex Collective, the Thrix said quietly. The Zex were not a Deathworld species. They came from a gentle planet with perfect conditions for life. They were known for their advanced technology and their belief that they were superior to all other species. We need to tell security, Tejo said, and we need to fix these systems before more people get hurt. In another part of the station, Ambassador Minho and Jiwoo had established a coordination center where they matched rescue teams with areas in need. They had created a simple system. Species that could tolerate certain conditions were sent to help in areas where those conditions existed. We need teams that can handle low gravity in Sector 12, Jiwoo called out, checking her tablet. Nubari and Keltarians would be best. Minho was speaking with High Counselor Ilari, who had finally acknowledged that the humans were not behind. The crisis. We have discovered evidence of deliberate sabotage, Ilari told Minho, her colors shifting to a deep red. Security teams are investigating the Zex delegation now. The Zex? Minho was surprised. They're not even a Deathworld species. Why would they do this? We have found documents, Ilari said, her voice low. They believe all Deathworld species pose a threat to galactic stability. They were particularly concerned about humans joining the Confederation. So they engineered this crisis to what? Kill us? Turn everyone against us? The evidence suggests they intended to cause failures in your section only, making it appear that humans were too dangerous to have on the station. But the sabotage spread further than they planned. Minho nodded slowly. And now they've endangered everyone on the station, not just the humans. Yes. We owe you an apology, Ambassador. We were quick to suspect your people, when the real threat came from those we trusted. 6 hours into the crisis, the first systems began coming back online. Dr. Tejo and the engineering team had worked out emergency repairs for the most critical areas. Security forces had detained several members of the Zex delegation after finding evidence of their plan. The UES Horizon had become the main medical center for the station. Its adaptable life support systems could create environments suitable for many different species. Dr. Han Jun had treated injuries ranging from pressure trauma to radiation exposure. Jun and Sujin had led rescue teams into the most dangerous areas, saving delegates who would have died without help. They had demonstrated not just physical resilience but quick thinking and courage. As Jun helped a young Araxian scientist reach a safe area, she asked him a question that seemed to be on many minds. Why are you humans helping us so much? Many here wanted to quarantine your planet. Jun took a moment to think before answering. On Earth, there's an old tradition called the duty to rescue. It means that if someone is in danger and you can help them, you should, no matter who they are. Even enemies? Especially then, Jun said. It's easy to help friends. The true test of character is helping those who may wish you harm. The Araxian skin rippled with colors Jun hadn't seen before. This concept would be valuable to share at the summit, she said. If we survive this crisis. We'll survive, Jun assured her. Humans are good at surviving, and now we're helping you do the same. By the time the main systems were restored, and the immediate danger had passed, the human delegation had helped rescue representatives from 14 different species. They had treated injuries, repaired critical systems, and coordinated the entire emergency response. The crisis was over, But its impact on the summit and on the galaxy's view of humanity had only just begun. As news spread of what the humans had done, delegates who had feared them now looked at them with new eyes. The Zeks had been right about one thing. Humans were indeed dangerous, but not in the way anyone had expected. The day after the crisis, Celestial Station was a different place. Repair crews worked to fix the remaining damage. Medical teams cared for those still recovering from injuries. Security forces guarded the detained Zeks delegates who would face justice for their actions. But the biggest change was how the aliens looked at the humans. When Commander Jun Kim and his team entered the main council chamber for the emergency session, they noticed the difference immediately. The seating had been rearranged. No longer were the Category 12 species separated from the others. Now all delegates sat together, with the human delegation given a prominent place near the center. "They're not afraid of us anymore," Sujin whispered to Jun as they took their seats. "Or they're afraid of us in a different way," he replied. "Hi." Counselor Ilari opened the session. Her skin shimmered with calm blue colors as she addressed the gathered delegates. "Yesterday's events have forced us to reconsider many of our assumptions," she began. "The criminal actions of the Zeks Collective endangered us all, but they also revealed truths we had not seen before." The chamber was silent as she continued. "We invited humans to this summit because we feared what they might become. We saw their adaptability as a threat. We worried that beings who evolved on such a harsh world would bring danger to our peaceful galaxy." Ilari's colors shifted to a deep purple. "We were wrong. Not about human capabilities. Those are indeed formidable. But about human character. When crisis came, the humans did not use it to their advantage. They did not leave us to our fate. Instead, they risked themselves to save others, even those who had treated them with suspicion and fear." Ambassador Minho stood when invited to speak. He looked around the chamber calmly. "Earth did not come to this summit seeking special treatment," he said. "We came seeking understanding and cooperation. Yes, our world is what you call a death world. Yes, our species has evolved with capabilities that may seem concerning to others. But how we use those capabilities defines us far more than their mere existence." Minho gestured to his team. Commander Kim and Lieutenant Park saved lives in areas too dangerous for most species to enter. Dr. Yoon treated injuries he had never seen before. Dr. Lee helped repair systems he had only just learned about. We did these things not because we had to, but because we believe in helping others. That is who humans are. One by one, representatives from species the humans had helped during the crisis stood to speak. A Keltarian praised their courage. A Nubari acknowledged their quick thinking. A Voth spoke of their strength used for rescue, not harm. Most surprising was a young Araxian scientist who had worked with Dr. Tejo during the crisis. "The humans possess something beyond physical adaptations," she said, her skin rippling with bright colors. "They have a capacity for cooperation and empathy that transcends species barriers. While we were classifying them as threats based on their physical capabilities, we failed to measure their moral and ethical development, which by any standard marks them as valuable allies." The debate continued for hours. Some delegates, still, expressed concerns about human unpredictability. Others argued that humanity's adaptability was exactly what the galaxy needed to face unknown future threats. In the end, the vote was clear. Earth would not be quarantined. Instead, humanity would be invited to join a newly formed cooperative alliance, a coalition of species committed to sharing knowledge and resources while respecting evolutionary differences. "Well, that went better than expected," Jun said to his team as they gathered in their quarters after the session. "We came here expecting to be treated like dangerous animals. Now we're valued allies. All it took was a station-wide disaster and saving a bunch of lives," Sujin replied with a smile. Dr. Tejo looked up from his tablet. "The scientific possibilities are amazing. So many different evolutionary paths, so many unique adaptations. To study and learn from, and to share," added Dr. Hanjun. "Some of our medical techniques could help other species, just as their knowledge could benefit Earth. Ambassador Minho nodded thoughtfully. This is just the beginning. The real work starts when we return home and prepare Earth for true galactic citizenship. Speaking of which, Jiwoo said, we're getting messages from all over the galaxy. She held up her communication device. Some are offering trade agreements, others want cultural exchanges. Many just express curiosity about humans. Apparently, Sujin added with a grin, we're a trending topic in galactic social networks. They're calling us the Deathworlders who care. June laughed. Not the worst nickname we could have gotten. The next morning, as the human delegation prepared to leave Celestial Station and return to Earth, they received a surprise visitor. High Counselor Ilari herself came to see them off. The Confederation Council has a request, she said, her skin cycling through formal patterns of green and gold. We would like Earth to host the next Deathworld Summit. Minho's eyebrows rose in surprise. You want all these delegates to come to our Deathworld? Yes, Ilari replied. Many species now wish to better understand the planet that produced humans. With proper protective measures, it should be safe for short visits. We would be honored, Minho said after a quick glance at June, who nodded. Earth would welcome representatives from across the galaxy. There is one more matter, Ilari added. The Council is forming a new emergency response team. Specialists trained to help during crises like the one we just experienced. We hope Earth will provide advisors and training. June stepped forward. I think Lieutenant Park would be perfect for that role. Sujin looked at him in surprise, then nodded. I would be happy to help. As they said their goodbyes, Ilari's colors shifted to a pattern June had never seen before. The translator took a moment before offering, this color pattern means respected friend in our language. It is not used often for non-Araxians. Thank you, June replied with a slight bow. We hope to earn that title many times over in the years to come. The United Earthship Horizon departed from Celestial Station with its 5 crew members and a wealth of new knowledge. As stars streaked by at faster-than-light speed, the team gathered on the bridge to compose their report to the Earth Council. Do we even begin to explain everything that happened? Asked Jiwoo. We tell them the truth, June said. We tell them that the galaxy invited humans to the Deathworld Summit expecting monsters, but found partners instead. Their mistake, Minho replied with a smile, was assuming that evolving on a dangerous world makes you dangerous. The truth is much more complex. How so? Asked Taiho. June looked out at the stars passing by. Surviving on a death world doesn't just make you strong or resilient. It teaches you the value of working together, of community, of finding meaning in challenges. Earth didn't make us monsters. It made us human. As the ship accelerated toward home, carrying news that would forever change humanity's place in the universe, one thing was certain. The galaxy would never underestimate humans again.